Okay, so this is your essay, right? So it says, the prompt says that the best way for a society to prepare its young people for leadership in government, industry, or other fields is by instilling in them a sense of cooperation, not competition. Okay. So I think first of all, what I would like to do is probably sketch a rough diagram in which I would try to state the fact that how would I approach this, and probably we can build on that. So the prompt is basically saying that as long as leadership, oh sorry, whoops, what's going on? Yeah, okay. So as long as leadership is concerned, and what was it saying in leadership in government? Okay, so when it comes to effective leadership, the prompt is saying that you need to have cooperation, cooperation, rather competition. Okay, competition. This is what the overall argument is. And to some extent, I think I have to agree with this and with the following reasons. So, why would I agree? So, first of all, I think that leaders, in order to be a good leader, given the fact that we live in modern times and we don't really believe in dictatorship and we don't want tyrant type of leaders who simply dictate and who don't really consider the opinions and values of their people. So if you want to be a good leader, first of all you have to show care that you actually value other people's opinion. So people want, how would I say this, people want democracy. Okay, people do not want tyrants or dictators. Okay, especially in the modern worlds, they want their opinions to be heard. They want to have a solid voice. And once that, okay, why would, what could be another reason? Okay, so in order to be a leader and have basically have influence and grow your business, I think you need a good team. And in order to have a good team, you need to have a sense of cooperation, because at the end of the day, leader cannot do everything on his own, because there's some executives jobs, okay, then there are some managerial jobs, and there is some, labor work, or you can say, okay, I mean, there's like a huge hierarchy, and a leader cannot do this on his own. And a good way I can, push this further is by giving an example of probably, Steve Jobs. Example could be of Steve Jobs, okay, and the fact that his iPhone company, yeah, that will be really great. What more? Can I come up with more reasons? Okay, my third reason would probably, uh, just for the sake of an argument, that two brains is always better than one. Two brains are always better than one. So when you're basically just tackling an issue on your own, you might not know certain ways to tackle it. However, if you have more smart people around you and there's a sense of cooperation, you can basically value from each other, and there's more like an empathy factor, there's like a friendly relationship going on, whereas you're just about competition, you're just about your own and you want the reward, blah blah blah. So a good example I can give of is probably SpaceX and Elon Musk. I mean, Elon Musk doesn't have an aerospace degree, by the way, and just because he basically gathered or hired smart people, eventually he was able to come up with a successful rocket ship company. So this is the part where I would say I would agree. But what about competition? Well, competition is required in my opinion. I just have to probably draw a line here. Okay, sorry. So if I want to disagree, why do I think that competition is required? So, in order to be an effective leader or probably survive and thrive in a company for business growth, I would say business growth, you need competition. Okay, competition is like a must. Okay, a must. A second reason that I think why competition is really important is because, well, if it kind of like motivates people to thrive and excel, and you need to perform better. Okay, when like you can give a competition by giving a prize. It can be some increase in salary, some vacation, blah blah blah. So, since I have more solid arguments for cooperation and I have solid examples for my cooperation, I'm probably going to lean towards cooperation and probably concede later with competition. So, probably I'm going to have two body paragraphs supporting cooperation and one concession paragraph for my cooperation. So, now that we're basically done with our analysis, let's dive into your essay and see what's going on. It says, in order to be effective leaders, sorry, one should possess many qualities like problem solving quality, leadership quality, management ability, and so forth. Um, the sentence is really good, it's to the point, but I don't really like this redundancy, to be very honest. This kind of like shows that uh, there's like a lack of vocabulary, so you could probably use attributes, you could probably say skills, something to this effect. So repeating one word over and over again doesn't give the effect that you are pretty you're pretty sound and you have a good grip on the use of the language, because ETS you know uh, gives a high score if you have different sentence variety and different vocabulary. So this is something that I would consider first. Okay, the prompt recommends that to be effective leader in government, industry, or other field, youth must be installed with cooperation rather than competition. I mostly agree with the prompt that cooperation is one of the factors that help the youth to lead government effectively. However, I concede that feeling of competition encourage the youth to do better than anyone else. Oh, so your stance is probably like mine. Let's see if your reasons are similar to mine as well. Firstly, competition makes one ruthless and motivated only for one's benefit, one's own benefit. Okay. So you're basically saying that competition is more self centered and cooperation is probably like you care about the whole team. So what I'm expecting is that you're probably going to give an example why competition doesn't work. Let's see. Youth who lead the government should be easygoing and affable, meaning friendly, as he she have to deal with different nature of problems and people. Okay, so you're probably saying that if you're just into competition, then you won't really give a damn about different people and different opinion. Okay, somewhat similar. For instance, Hitler, who is very callous and heartless, only possesses the competition feelings. Okay, people were not able to express their suffering and sorrow with him. In that scenario, if people are not able to comfort their feeling, then the leader is not that effective. Okay, pretty much confront their feelings with the S, then the leader is not that effective. Okay, leader is not only the one that led the country and solve the problem, but leaders should be the one who look after their people and suffering and problems. Hmm, doesn't seem right. But leaders should be the one who look after their people in suffering and hardships. I would say this doesn't seem to make sense. Look after their people in suffering and hard times, and not just simply dictate. Uh, well, I'm a bit honestly confused because here's like the general rule. Uh, what is your stance? Why do you think this way? And how can you develop this idea? Probably here is where you state your stance, here is where your reasons are, and here is where your examples or analogies are. So your stance is pretty great from here to here when you say first competition makes or so basically the way you take your stance is by deriding or belittling the other side, which is competition. So you're like, boo, we don't want you. you would lead the government should be easygoing FL, and then you try to back it up by saying that, hey, cooperation is needed because you need to be flexible, you need to listen to different people. Okay, that's your reason. But how did you develop this idea? Probably because of the Hitler, and you tried to state the fact. But how was Hitler a very tyrant guy who was a dictator and he didn't really care about his people? Hmm. Because Hitler has a force and he used it to basically kill other people. So if you're basically trying to bring Hitler, then you have to kind of like explain the fact that Hitler was didn't really care about what people used to say, and he was a typical like you can say a dictator. He didn't give a damn what people used to say, and he just used to make people follow him. So you say only possesses the competition feeling. People were not able. You kind of like didn't explain that. I would say people were not able to express their suffering, sorrow with him. Okay, I think you did over here. In that scenario, if people are not able to confront their feelings, then the leader is not that effective. Okay, okay, I see it. I see it. Leader is not the only one that lead the country solve the problem, but leader should be the one who. Okay, so there are some structural problems in the end, but overall it's a good one. I see it. I see the what, I see the why, I see the how. Okay, moving on. Secondly, cooperation is the factor that keeps everyone united, which helps the country to grow and burgeon. Okay, so flourish. Nice little GRE word. So I'm assuming that you're probably going to state, so your stance is the fact that cooperation brings empathy, it brings everyone together, it unites people. So I know your what, okay? But the question is why, and I know your reason probably, this is my prediction, and how you're going to develop that, let's see, okay? The country where people are against the government does not lead towards development, okay? So, do you have any evidence for that? Youth should have feelings of cooper. This is like a statement with assertion with not much explanation. So, probably if you would have given an example from real life, then that would have, increased the credibility or convincing or persuasiveness of your argument. But anyway, you simply shifted to another point. Youth should have feeling of cooperation. For example, Mahatma Gandhi, one of the most effective lead in the history of India, okay, become more popular because he emphasized the feelings of sympathy and cooperation towards the needy ones. Okay, so you're basically saying that the reason why Gandhi was an amazing political leader, why? Because he used to have empathy and sympathy for his followers. Okay, okay, I liked it. Probably if you could have stated that what he achieved and why he was great, that would have been really awesome. But anyway, he is a pretty famous person. Probably people know. Okay, I like it. Okay, moving on. However, competition also play a role to make youth more effective and lead the government more properly. Okay, so now you're conceding with the competition. The feeling of competition also motivates one individual to do better than others. Okay, I like that. For instance, let's take competition between two opposing political parties fighting for the government. Both want to make society better and do something for people to get votes. In that case, it does not better. In that case, it does not better which. Huh? In that case, it does not matter which political party construct the roads, provide electric power in the remote areas. The only thing that okay, so you're saying it doesn't really matter. Okay, in that it does not really matter which political party constructs the roads, provide electricity power in the remote areas. The only thing that matter is the country is what? The only thing that matter is the country is that the country is leading in the path of development. Okay. Um. So you have a solid what, which is you're trying to say competition needs to be considered, and the reason why you're saying that is because competition kind of like creates a platform where people can perform better and try to outperform one another, and that's why ultimately grow. And how do you develop this idea? By giving an example of two political parties, which I'm not exactly sure. Like in that case, it does not matter which political party construct the roads, provide electricity, power in the remote areas. The only thing which matter is country is leading in the path of development. Okay. Uh, like how does construction of roads and provided electricity does not matter? I mean, doesn't it include development? I mean, what is going on? It's a bit confusing. Like, do you want to chat? Like, can you open your sorry? Like, can you answer this question? Because I'm really confused. Like, why have you stated that construction of roads and providing electricity to a remote area does not matter? Like, isn't it a part of development? You there? Let me see. Do you have anything to say, Pooja? Yes. Okay. What is it? Like, what are you really trying to say? Because I'm confused at this at the very end of the paragraph. Are you? It does not matter which political party did it. Okay. So let me read again and see what you're trying to say. It does not really matter which party does it. It really matters is which one is actually involved with the most development. Probably this would make more sense. Yeah. Okay. But this wording is a bit confusing, to be very honest. So, not this paragraph, the explanation, or you can say how, or the analogy part is a bit confusing. Anyway, in last, feeling of cooperation in youth make diverse group of people connected towards each other by helping each other when needed. The government who is helps. The government who helps and listens helps and listens to the people's problems lead the government effectively. What was going on? Okay, so there are some structural issues here. The government who helps and listens to the people's problems, it lead then that government lead the government effectively, and people are likely to vote that youth again and again. There's some structural issues here. So basically, maybe what you're trying to say is that when the government has an open platform where its followers and its people can raise their voices, then people are willing to vote for you, and then you can kind of like expand your time period for the government. Maybe that's what you're trying to say, but the wording is really, I would say, not clear and confusing. However, one cannot ignore the fact that competition between individuals motivates to do things even better. Uh, yeah, you could say that, but a little explanation would it made it more strong, in my opinion. So I really like the fact when it comes to structure that you have an introduction, and your stance is pretty clear. You have pretty good body one, you have a good body too, but I think you can develop on that, probably explaining why Gandhi was so great. Just because simply just taking a name of a person might not really bring too much credibility on the table. If you would have told what he accomplished, that would have made more sense. Because there might be a guy who's reading about Gandhi and he has no clue. Okay. Uh, Third, I mean, the wording is a bit confusing in the last, I would say, but I get the idea. And you have a good conclusion, but again, the wording in the end is a bit confusing. So, overall, if I want to grade it, I would say that this essay is somewhere 3.5 to 4, maybe, because in order to have a 4 plus or probably 4.5 or plus essay, you need to have good arguments for your body one, body two, body three. Otherwise, it's quite difficult to cross this barrier. So, I mean, there were arguments, but the explanations were lacking. They were not developed that much. I would say there were some structural issues. It was pretty hard for me to understand your stance. And honestly, ETS graders has like 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, they're like super fast readers, and they just quickly go through it. And if they cannot understand your stance, they just lower your score. So okay, that's pretty much it for my feedback. Is there anything else that you want to ask, Pooja? No? Okay. Then we can call it a day. Have a good day. Bye bye.